Good afternoon, friends. Egan Barthels is checking in here, and I was going to be here a bit earlier, but I got caught up just a little bit. I was talking to a guy that you may remember, and if any of you that are listening this afternoon when I mention his name have any stories, please keep them to yourself. But Dub Miller in the Texas Thunder Radio studios. Welcome to Shiner, buddy. Good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
It's been, what did we decide? How long has it been? At least
it's at least a decade, probably more. But you and I have known each other going on 20 years.
We
now.
was kids in high school
We
together.
was. I can't speak for you, but I was pretty.
Oh yeah,
back then.
Yeah. Nothing's changed on this side very much. Dub, it is a pleasure to have you here. I want to back up just a little bit, and I don't want to mention the song that haunts your past, but I will say that when I was driving back up to the station here after lunch, I was thinking about you and what we were going to talk about this afternoon. And one of the things that I just remember very well was a band that you had started out, and that you were the first one that I know that named a band after a road, and everyone followed suit shortly after that. It was the Highway 6 Band.
Yeah, the Highway 6 Band. Yeah, I can't claim credit for inventing that, but boy, if I'd have known what was going to follow, I think I'd have thought a little harder about it. But yeah, Highway 101 was existence, and those are days, and I guess the song you're talking about was the Fightin' Texas Aggie song, which has nobody's more surprised than me that it followed me around that long. If I'd have known it was going to be around that long, I might have tried to make it a better song, honestly.
You got away from it and went to the oil and gas business. I want to talk about that in a second.
Sure.
I mean, but with Dub Miller, I know that we had living on Lone Star time. I want to back up a little bit, but we're going back on these names of the bands and stuff. You remember radio guy Matt Matthews?
I do.
Matt Matthews and I were talking about, so we're going to do something different. If we ever learn how to play an instrument, we're going to name ourselves as be Matt Matthews and the Horace Caldwell Peer out of Port Aransas. We was going to start the Peer group,
Great.
and it never panned out for us. But I think half of us are still in radio, fortunately. But no, we what was that? You brought it in here earlier. It was the one with "Living on Lone Star Time" on it.
Right.
That album?
American Troubadour was the name of that album. It was the first one I ever got to do. Is and the great Lloyd Maines, who turns 65 on Monday. Happy birthday, Lloyd Maines.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, the great Lloyd Maines produced that record for us, and we were kind of you remember better than anybody back then. We were just hacking through the brush with machetes trying to find a gig, and I guess everybody with an earshot of us right now is already familiar with you, Egan. But in case you're not, this thing we call it Texas country or red dirt or whatever you want to call it, but for Egan, it may not exist. It was you and a handful of others that were the first radio people to roll the dice on this. And man, I'm not kidding.
Well, y'all were the only ones that would talk to us. Well, no, and thank you for that. I think that it goes back a long way, and I'm so excited to mention talking to you, thinking about you this afternoon. But not to my surprise, I guess it was when I said, "Hey, you remember Dub Miller?" I said, "Yeah." So he's got a new single coming out, and I didn't know you've got a brand new project called the Midnight Ambassador.
Yes, sir.
And how long has this been out?
This has been out. Well, we put it out at Steamboat, and so that was the release, and then this is the first opportunity to work a single out of it and go do radio, and you got that. So we've been really pushing this thing. Although it's been out since January, it's really been only properly marketed, I guess, if you say, for I don't know, a couple months now. But
you were telling me there's a difference between the CD that I can get at the live show versus the one at at the record stores.
that's true.
And
That is
so
true.
You get more music if you come to the live show. There's an extra song on there, I think.
That's right. And it was part of the distribution. The original version was gonna have the one you have has 12 songs, and the other one that you can buy from Amazon or whoever will only has 11 songs. And I sent it to when they got to the distributor. I immediately got an email back because part of the deal, Buc-ee's was going to carry the CD, and you can go if you're road tripping this summer, pull into a Buc-ee's. If you're driving by right now, I think can they hear us at the Luling Buc-ee's?
Yeah, they sure.
Yeah. Well, if you're driving down 10. Make that turn, go into Buc-ee's and get my CD and some beaver nuggets and some beef jerky
and a Yeti cooler and a barbecue pit and some,
right
and rocking chair
and something with a cross on it, and you'll be good to go. And but they said this song, Buc-ee's is not going to carry this with this song on it. Once you hear it, you will know why. And if anybody listening to us is familiar with me and my music, then for some of you, the Sailboat song will mean something to you, which is a song I wrote as kind of a joke, but it became sort of this cult deal after a while. And Adam Oder, who we talked about, who helped me, the Grammy Award winning Adam Oder, who helped me put this CD together. I was, should I put it on there? Should I put it on there? And Adam, he taught me into it. So I'm glad we did. And where we finally ended up is there was the batch we made. That's the official release. But then I went ahead and made this second batch that I just carry around in the trunk of my car. And if you catch me out there on the road somewhere, I will hook you up with the bonus track version. Explicit lyric bonus track version.
Parental advisory. What is your what's your website address?
Dubmiller.com.
Okay.
DUBMILLER. Dubmiller.com.
Okay. I want to talk to you about some of your upcoming shows and gigs and things like that. But I want to talk about this brand new single that is out now. It's from the Midnight Ambassador CD. It's called Big Chief Tablet. It's just been released for radio for a little while. And before we played off the CD, can you give me the kind of story behind the song here?
Oh, sure. The Big Chief Tablet song?
Yeah.
Well, it is not to be taken too seriously at all. It is in this life we have relationships with people, and sometimes we have relationships with the opposite sex. Mm-hmm. And sometimes these go well, and sometimes they go poorly. And as the ebb and the flow and ups and downs of these relationships we have, that becomes fodder for people who write songs, particularly country songs, sad songs. These are the bricks upon which the foundation of country music is built, right?
Right.
So then, as kind of you're going through there, you meet, and there's the happy part, and then there's the sad part, and then there's the part. Eventually, you get past the sad part, and you begin to gain perspective, and you start to have a sense of humor about the whole thing, and laugh at your own folly. And I was in the shower of all places, washing my hair, and a line came to me, and it's like if I had a Big Chief tablet and a number 2 pencil, I'd write down all the things that I hate about you. And yeah, it made me laugh too, and so I went along with it. And somebody, I know that sounds terrible, but I erase all those nasty things at the end of the song. So all's well that ends well, and I wish I could tell you it's about really one girl in particular. It's more an amalgamation of women I've known over the years. I've had many unsuccessful relationships, so I've been able to write a lot of songs.
You have to practice too. I mean, to get it right eventually.
Absolutely.
Maybe. All right, Dub Miller's in the studio with us. Here's the latest single. It's Big Chief Tablet. Dub Miller with us on Texas Thunder Radio.
Got a that you're leaving, and it just now finally made me mad. Well, if I had a big chief talent and a number 2 pencil to write down all the things that I hate about you, the way you're always taking the last piece of pizza and stealing all my quarters from my ashtray too. Take all of my money and the rest of my possessions. Don't mean nothing if I ain't got you. But can't be home and looking like silver, gonna fall into the arms of someone new. Hey, I don't know just what I'm feeling, but I'm pretty sure that it's bad. And all I know is that you're leaving, and it just now finally made me mad. The phone out there. Well, if I had a big cheap talent and a number 2 pencil, I'd erase all the things that I wrote about you. You heard this song, I hope you got a sense of humor, and when it comes to that, I hope your daddy does too. And I hope you find peace and I hope that you're happy. Hope that God blesses everything that you do. While I be here with my big cheap tablet, writing down all the fun I'm gonna have without you. I don't know just what I'm feeling, but I'm starting to think that maybe it ain't half bad. Woo! All I know is that you're leaving, and it just now finally made me glad. Yeah, yeah, it just now finally made me glad.
That's a brand new single. It's wait on the drums, and there they are. All right, there's Dub Miller. It's called Big Chief Tablet here on Texas Thunder Radio from the CD The Midnight Ambassador. Who's talking? You're going to be over in Stafford tomorrow,
Yes, sir.
outside of Houston, and that is Thursday night. Thursday night, yeah, Thursday night show.
Yeah, well, today's Wednesday, so yeah, that'll be tomorrow night. I'm gonna have Johnny Burke with me, who's a fantastic singer-songwriter, and we're just gonna have a good old time at the Redneck Country Club, Stafford, Texas.
Where's Wolf City?
Wolf City is upper kind of Dallas area.
Okay.
And that's it's going to be, I guess, where the 4th of July weekend is upon us, and that's going to be an outdoor festival that is a fundraiser for the volunteer fire department up there, and there's going to be a couple other bands there with us. I think Colton O'Neill, off the top of my head, is on that bill, and I'm remiss, I can't remember who all else, but that's going to be a real fun time.
I also see here on July 9th up in Austin at the infamous Brewing Company on July 9th. Now, if you want more information, dubmillerband.com, and you can order the CD off here. You're also on social media, I see on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and things like that. And I know you brought your guitar with you. Would you mind picking one for us here when we come back after the break?
I'd love to.
All right, Dub Miller's with us, Texas Thunder Radio. All right, it is 3:35 at Texas Thunder Radio. Oh, I tell you, it's funny when I hadn't seen you in some over some time now, and to catch up to talk about all the things. I think we could probably be here forever.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, I'm
like
sure
it,
I could just bore your listening audience to tears. No doubt.
I've already done that. I started that earlier, but you brought your guitar with you.
Yes.
I know that you were telling me earlier when we got to visit in here on the air that just because you stepped off the stage for a little while and went to school and got in the oil and gas business and watched the rise and the decline of that and said, you know what, I'm gonna go back and play some music again. You never quit writing.
That's true.
And I think that's awesome. And so I guess the music was and the sheets were piling up that you had to go back through and get some of this out there?
Well, you always want to. You know, the old tree falls in a forest. Can you hear it? Thing. It's kind of like if you write a song but nobody ever hears it, is it still a song? Because I think they want to live and breathe, and it was a fun process. And like I said, I went in there with my buddy Adam, and he's like, well, just come in. And what we decided to do is I was going to play him a bunch of songs, and I let him pick his favorite 12, and we call that the album. And I demoed maybe 30, 35 songs, and he picked the 12. And it was an interesting process, though, because we there were songs that I thought were pretty good songs that didn't get picked at all, and other songs I didn't think were really that good at all that he did choose. So proof the artist is seldom the best judge of his own work.
Yeah, I was. This is why I said you said Atlanta was home.
Yes.
And I knew why I mentioned Mason because of the song 9 Miles North of Mason. I remember that.
Right.
There was another CD that you brought in before we hear some of whatever you're going to play for us now. There was some tapes that had recorded some live shows. You told me one was in Houston at the Firehouse, one
Yes,
at
sir.
Cheatham Street Warehouse in San Marcos.
That's right.
And these tapes didn't know where they went. And tell me the story.
Right. Well, they disappeared, and right around the time I got ready to bust up my band, boy meets girl, boy falls in love. We decided perhaps life on the road would not be conducive to family life. So it's like, all right, well, I'll leave the road and get a job, which I did. But right before I did that, I had recorded a couple of live shows with the intention of putting it out as a live record, and just never got around to putting it out, and never saw any reason. And I ran into what we just talked about, Lloyd Maines earlier.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lloyd. And ran into him at a wedding, and he asked me about it, and if I'd ever done anything with it. And I was like, no, I forgot all about it, to be honest with you. He's like, well, you ought to put that out. Worst thing that can happen is make some money. So I talked to Adam. So he talked to the guy that was at the studio now that he was then. And basically we found the tapes, the two old-fashioned 2-inch tapes that were recorded on. He found them in a closet. And so we got it and kind of went through them and mixed it down and put it out. So that's called the Lost Live, and it's available any place you go buy music anymore. If you it's on all the iTunes and all that, and if you stream Spotify and Rhapsody, you can find it there too, I'm pretty sure. And
you also have links. I want to not to interrupt you, but dubmillerband.com, and there's links on there on music and stuff too if you want to purchase that or want to learn more on your music. And I will share this over on our Facebook page here, the link to your stuff in just a little while. But very interesting too. It's kind of like a surprise treasure. I mean, it really. I can't wait to get to listen to this.
Well, it's fun. It's a little snapshot in time, and like I said, you and I both remember those days fondly, as anyone else who has followed this kind of music for quite some time. It's a record you can put it on and sip a beer, and it'll bring you back.
Right.
And it's boy, it's awfully live. We didn't sugarcoat any of it. We didn't overdub or anything. We just mixed it down and put it out.
The problem is if you sip on one or two, it takes you a whole lot many more days to recover than it used to. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes,
about
sir.
that.
Well, Hank Jr. warned us about that, didn't he?
He sure did. Well, like I mentioned, you got your guitar here. What do you want to play for us this afternoon here?
Can you indulge me a short story to talk about the song? Do we have time?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the song off the new album, and again, I believe that with the possible exception of jazz music, I think our greatest contribution to world culture as Americans is the myth of the American cowboy, particularly as it pertains to the trail drives, that era, and that image that just popped in your head. Right? I think you could go anywhere in the world and show people that image, and they'll recognize it for exactly what it is. They may not be able to tell you in English, but they'll know it. And it's crazy to me, a couple things. One, that was so long ago, and it's very much a part of our culture now. And two, that when it was going on, it really didn't last very long. But here we are in the new millennium, well into it, and we still celebrate that time. And there's been so many songs and books and poems and movies and stories and magazine ads that are all about this little, we talk about snapshots in time. And it's always been with us, and I guess it always will be. And the the first trail drive, there's these two guys, Charlie Goodnight and Oliver Loving, and they were ranching cattle up in the Panhandle. They got this crazy idea that if they get their cows all the way north to Montana, areas like that, sell them there, they can make a tidy profit. Everybody says you're crazy, you never make it, you'll get scalped, you lose your herd, all these bad things happen. Well, they did it anyway, and not only did they pull it off, but they pulled it off fantastically, so much that other people started following suit, and now the trail drive era has begun. And then, of course, the West was getting settled at that time. So as the westward expansion happened and the countryside began to get settled, the trails got pushed west as well. So, that first one was the Goodnight Loving Trail. And then as the trails got pushed westward, there were a lot of them, but the Chisholm Trail was a famous one, and the Great Western Trail was one of the last, and basically the railroads happened. They just found more economical ways to move beef, and 25 years is all it was. It was over, but we still, that time is very much a part of us today, and I suspect it always will be. And I got a couple of buddies, a couple of your buddies, Doug Moreland and Matt Skinner, who are out from far west Texas, that Big Bend area. They're from Fort Davis.
Fort Davis, USA, yeah.
That's right, and Alpine, respectively, in the case of Skinner. And both of those guys raised very much in that sort of cowboy poet, Gene Autry, get along little doggy tradition that celebrates that time as it should, but it kind of whitewashes it a little bit too. And having grown up on a working ranch myself, I call BS on most of it, because that was a tough gig for those guys, and most of the people doing that kind of work, they were there because they couldn't find any other work, and the pay was low and the mortality rate was high.
Right.
So mostly to annoy my buddies, I decided to write a song from the perspective of a guy who might actually been on one of these things.
All right.
Anyway, it's called Charlie Goodnight. Charlie Goodnight was a bastard, he hated so Ross, and while I commanded the faith of the men, Charlie Goodnight was the boss. He get out with the devil, damn sure get out with me. If there's a man who carried more sand, be inclined to disagree. He blazed a trail of cattle, a money train of bees. He got along with Indians that hated sheep and thieves. He tolerated drinking, although it was a sin. He was always good to horses, but always hard on men. So ride, hell you bastard, ride hill and back again. They say heaven's but a pasture, it is not for ambitious men. So ride like hell, you bastard, ride into another day, before they string their wire and take it all away. Charlie Goodnight was a bastard, but a cowboy all the same. Yeah, he always took the credit, but then he always took the blame. Never seen him go to bed, never seen him rise. And may have been warmth in his heart, there was coldness in his eyes. So ride, hell you bastard, ride hill and back again. They say heaven's but a pasture, is not for ambitious men. So ride like hell, you bastard, ride to another day before they string their wire and take it all away. Charlie Goodnight was a bastard. He hated old so Ross. And while I commanded the faith of the men, Charlie Goodnight was the boss.
I love it. It's called Charlie
Thank you,
Goodnight,
brother.
and that is on the CD, The Midnight Ambassador. Dub Miller with us in the Texas Thunder Radio studio this afternoon. I know that song hits home a lot, especially when you go through some of the largest cattle country now is right here in Lavaca. You also have Gonzales and Fayette counties. Gonzales
great cow country.
and DeWitt counties. And I'm telling you, it is really something to see. And I know that a lot of those cowboy folks like you and I kind of talked about.
Yeah.
We have those. I know one for sure. Joe Adams down at Cuero, and I bet he'd love that song to death. So, but listen, buddy, Dub, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and sharing your music and coming to see us again here at Texas Thunder, buddy.
Well, thank you, man. It's so great to reconnect with you.
Yeah.
And Jeff, thanks for having me, brother. This has been fun.
And if you ever get a chance to stop by and come see us again, we'd love to have you.
Don't feed a stray dog.
Well, good thing we only have just scraps. All right. Dub, thank you a million. DubMillerBand.com. And again, as we mentioned, we'll share that info up on our Facebook page here in just a few minutes. Dub, again, thank you.
Thank you, brother.
348, this is Texas Thunder Radio.